Yo, yo, yo. Bam. Bam. Shit. Dodgers are losing 5-2. Whoops. All right. Let's go ahead and do this. Wait, what happened? Did they already get out? Dodgers hit into a double play. Incredible. What's good? Just trying to figure out what the hell happened to the Dodgers right there in the bottom of the fifth. That was a very quick inning. All right, let's go right here. The Dodgers had a runner on base. They had to hit into a double play. What the hell happened? Justin Turner double play. Yeah. Wow. Not his best postseason. That's for sure. All right. Well, I wanted to talk about some of these tweets, man. Some of these tweets are really going off right now. 49ers, I mean, you can't really put a pulse to what is happening with 49ers Twitter. But what I will say is that it does generate some really good content. Field Yates basically tweeted this out. Ravens offensive tackle Ronnie Staley has been placed on IR and is out for the year. That's the 17th Raven placed on IR. That's a very high number. I'm curious what the 49ers number is in terms of IR folks, but 17, and they're still winning. They're still leading in the division, even with all the injuries. Incredible. What they're doing, I mean, we've seen this in years with the 49ers. What they're actually doing in Baltimore is unheard of. They didn't have a running back to finish camp. And now they're still winning. Just speaks to Lamar Jackson, I think. I think that's what it is. It just speaks to how good Lamar Jackson truly is. And credit Baltimore's defense, too. I think they're pretty solid. They just really whooped the LA Chargers this past weekend. But I found that interesting. Let's go back. Check on the score real quick. Bring the score up. Let's bring the score up. 5-2. Okay. Oh, this was a really, really funny tweet. Jesse, who comes out in the Grant Cone, pretty much broke down this video here and says, if it doesn't work out for John Lynch, he'll be a hell of a third base coach. Here, you got to see it.
Trey Lance came across your radar where you kind of recognized that this guy was a player?
Yeah. So, I think it was probably, some sort of college meetings. I'm trying to think.
Just focus on how he touches his face. I'm very handsy too. I touch my face a lot. John Lynch is the same way. He's the same way.
Exactly when they were. He only.
So even though that he wasn't going to be coming out in the 2020 draft, you remember watching him in 2019 and kind of making a mental note? But is there anything that you can really remember or the first scouting report you read on him?
Well, knew nothing about.
There it is again. Touching his face after every question. That seems to be what people are talking about. John Lynch, how he's answering questions.
About him in terms of the.
Is your area scout, and what was he telling you through this process?
Yeah, so the area scout.
There it is. Third base coach, still second. Go ahead.
Scout.
Perception outside the building, I'm sure, is different than what's going on inside the building. Do you think, there's a concern that there's a crisis going on here?
No crisis,
That's the one people are talking about right there. This one. What does that mean? It means there's crisis. It means there's crisis. Do you think that Kittle don't want to play with Trey? I feel like Kittle really likes Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's one of those guys that he doesn't, if he is a leader on that team, he's gonna try to keep the locker room together. And by playing both sides, I think that's what's best for him. I don't think he doesn't want to play with him, but I also think he's good buddies with Jimmy. And I think the Niners are finding it hard to just let go of Jimmy. I don't know why. I just don't understand it. And, this whole offseason, everything pointed to the 49ers moving on from Jimmy. But everything from the season, from when it started, is pointing to, oh, well, Jimmy's our guy. Sending mixed messages is never a good sign. This is what that video was in reference to.
Better. Perception outside the building, I'm sure, is different than what's going on inside the building. Do you think? I mean, there's a concern that there's a crisis going on here.
No crisis.
If I say nah, I didn't do it. Most likely there's something going on there. Just if for those who are experts in body language, that just is a sign tell of get me the hell out of here. Get me the hell out of this interview because I don't like this question and I'm going to do my best not to mess it up. That's all that was. But then again, John Lynch kind of does this all the time.
I'm confident as I've always been, confident as I've ever been that, we're.
Do you believe him when he says that? Does he says this with conviction?
As I've always been, confident as I've ever been that, we're going in the right direction. I also understand this is a results-oriented business, and we got to start doing it. We need to find out who we are. We come back with the Colts, and from that point, our focus just needs to be on that right there. Beat.
Man is probably so bad at poker. Hell yeah, he is.
The Colts, but in terms of any crisis or anything, that's not here. We got a bunch of people who care, a bunch of people who play with great effort. The NFL is about more than that. You have to have that, and you have to have it each and every week, but it's about execution, and we got to start executing better.
Perception outside the building, I'm sure.
Well, that could have been worse, I guess, but we're talking about a messed up season so far for the 49ers, and they're still in the mix. They're still in the mix. Actually, let me pull that up because what are they, like one game back in the for the like wild card or whatever. And I know it's only been like 7 weeks, but crazy to think that the Niners are not done. If they can stack up some wins here, they're able to make a run, but the hard part is stacking up a win. Is actually getting a win. How about that? Just get a win. Can we just get a win? Maybe. Just one. Sunday, starting with Sunday. Let's just play well, play together like a team, and come out and win. Or is that too hard now? Asking for a friend. What are we going to do? Anyways, I couldn't find it. But the point is, we just need to go out there and play better. We have the talent. That's not a question. The question has always been, what is this season about? What's our whole identity here? And for the most part, it was Shanahan's identity was running the football, going off play action. But now you have another element to the game with a rookie in Trey Lance. He can use his legs, he can extend plays. And so I don't feel like we're putting our best foot forward. And then we bring up front office. Sure, let's talk about front office. Let's talk about it. Because Matt Mayoko has this. I haven't even read this, but found it interesting. John Lynch says that the 49ers are working hard to identify the reasons for their draft hits and misses. So I liked it just to come back to it. Let's come back to it. And here we are. So why don't we, hopefully there's no paywall behind this because I'm not going to pay. 49ers working hard. No. Okay.
Obviously,
Under
the season
general manager
is
John
still
Lynch, the 49ers
early,
added draft
and
picks such as
Brandon
George
Ayuk is a
Kittle,
young
Fred
guy,
Warner,
but
Nick Bosa,
coming off
and
that
Debo, yes,
ultra
those were
productive
all
rookie
hits.
season he had,
Players
just
near the
seems
top
he
of the
hasn't
league
taken
at
that
their
next step, and
positions,
he's
but they
actually kind of
also
slid back quite a
invested
bit.
important
So,
draft picks on players
how do you
who
get him
never
going?
came close
What's
to
the
panning
issue?
out, such
What's
as
going on
Solomon
with
Thomas,
Brandon
one
Ayuk?
of the
Well, first and
biggest
foremost,
misses, if not
I
the
know that
biggest, right?
it's critical
When
for
when
us
we
to
look
have
at it
him
from the bigger
at
picture,
his
you
best
could
for
have
us to
drafted
be
the
at our
quarterback
best.
of the future in that
We
draft.
drafted him
Reuben
where we
Foster,
drafted him for a
Dante
reason.
Pettis,
He's an
and Kellen
extremely talented
Witherspoon,
young man. He's an extremely
yeah, we can
hard-working young
all
man.
agree
Sometimes you run into
these
some speed
four.
bumps. His health in training camp, and
Now we talking
we had
about
some other
Javon
people
Kinlaw.
playing at a high level.
Here
And
we
this
are. It's
league
too
is
early to
about
tell on
working
second-year
through that.
players.
I just
Javon Kinlaw
sat up there and
Brandon
can't.
Ayuk. I
People
can
don't know. I
argue
didn't
that we
start
haven't
till my
gotten the
third
best
year.
out of these
That was a little
players.
more
They're
commonplace back
still
then. But
barely
I was trying to find
settling
myself as a
in.
player. You're working
And
through things.
not
And
only
so
that, but Javon
what I can
Kinlaw
tell you
dealing
is,
with knee
we
issues.
still very much
We can't
believe
even
in
give
Brandon.
the ball to
Brandon
Brandon
still
Ayuk.
very much believes
And
in
to me, that's
himself and
all
us. And
on
we
coaching.
just got to
Like,
put
what
it
are we
all
doing?
together. And
We can't
again, the
give
urgency
the
of that,
ball
it
to our
needs to
first
come.
round
We have other
draft
people who are hungry
choice
and have
in
earned
Brandon
opportunities
Ayuk.
as well. And so we're always going to put out the players that give us the best
So-
chance, but we do understand that
wait.
it's
Well,
extremely important for us
there's
to have
audio playing.
Brandon Ayuk at his best for us to ascend to where
Bear
we
with
want to
me,
go.
folks.
Coming up.
Of course, they always have ads or videos. Anyways, so Javon Kinlaw, Brandon Ayuk. Like, this was supposed to be the year. This is the year where we're like, okay, what do we have in these two players? We currently haven't seen much. In fact, we've seen more the first year than this year. So already I'm just like, what are we doing? And when we talk about the NFL, you want to get the most out of the players that are in their rookie contracts. This is why I'm pushing. Let's start Trey Lance. Let's get this train going, because I don't want to wait another year for a development year and having to wait all the way to 2023, where at that point it's just like, all right, you're 2-3 years removed from having to throw the bank at this guy. So we need to get production early. That way it's an asset, and I don't want to look at players like assets, but that's pretty much how they like kind of trained us to look at things, right? It's just like, you're an asset. Now we're sending you off to another team for draft choices so we can do this all over again. Well, this is how you can not only lose leverage, but you're also not getting the best out of your players. And to me, that's been the biggest bust. It's just like, players that we've recently drafted we haven't had any production from them. So Kyle needs to change his play calling up, period. I think that, yeah, that's kind of been the consensus all around, because on one hand, it's just like Brandon Ayuk isn't getting the ball. Why is that? Some, you can argue it's quarterback. You can argue it's play calling. But we can all agree that our playmakers aren't getting the ball, which is sad. It's sad. It leads me to believe that the 49ers aren't really trying their best to win. That may not be true, but that's how it looks like. So it's unfortunate. Anyways, Lynch told NBC Sports Bay Area the personnel department regularly goes back to past drafts to identify the traits that contributed to the success and failures of their draft picks. That's something that we feel is very important. I don't feel like they've learned anything. You have to study yourself. You have to study the league and say, okay, this worked. Why? This didn't work. why. Lynch said he believes the organization has a good process for self-evaluation and improvement. The scouting process includes the year-round efforts of the scouting department and then brings in the coaching staff in the months leading up to the draft. We have had a lot of hits, Lynch said. We've had some misses. We have to be better there, and we're working hard to identify, okay, what's been the common threads when we've hit and what we have gone wrong when we've missed. I just don't feel like we are actually evaluating ourselves or being honest with ourselves. Like, in all honesty, we have missed a lot in the first round outside of Nick Bosa. So how do we evaluate ourselves to be better in the early rounds? Because late in the rounds, we were pretty solid. Like in the mid rounds, yeah, we've had some really solid picks and great value. But I don't know as of recently. I think our production of draft picks have fallen off a bit. And I think maybe that has to do a little bit with coaching. Maybe is the evaluation process, but it hasn't been the best. And now you consider we have to be more strategic with our draft choices because we're going to have no first round picks the next 3 years moving forward. So it's almost like we have to manage with the little bit that we have. And it's turning to be, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't see the Niners as a solid like playoff team unless they change something. Something has to change. By the way, 5-2? 5-2? What happened? What happened to the Doyers? The Braves are right now it's well, you can see it there. Top of the 6. The Braves have 2 on, first and second with 2 outs. We need to start winning now, like you said, with the rookie and get his momentum going while playing him. He'll learn. Yeah, I mean, some people think that actually starting him right now is a mistake because it can hurt his development. I'm under the impression of, well, this is why Kyle Shanahan's here. And number one, I guess that's number one. Number two is this is the guy that he supposedly wanted, but now we're hearing from folks, this is all rumors, of course, that maybe it's not the guy he actually wanted. Maybe it's the guy the front office wanted and now has pushed that agenda on Shanahan, which, God, if that's true, then this is going to end pretty badly. If there's any truth to that, where Shanahan didn't want Trey Lance, front office did, and Shanahan basically has to deal with that, this will end ugly. And I hope that's totally bogus, but it could be ugly, man. It really can. I just hope that the 49ers figure it out quick. They have to jump ship one way or the other. You're going to roll with Garoppolo, then just call it how it is. Garoppolo hasn't been playing well. He's always hurt. And I hope that's not true. I hope you're just not rolling with Garoppolo because you think that is the better choice. I actually think Trey Lance can give you some wins. And if he's our future, which he is, then I think it'll pay dividends starting now. Get those growing pains out of the way. I don't see this team if they make the playoffs, they're not going to go far. They have so many holes. They're not playing as a team. That's just the honest truth. And our record indicates that. Now, somehow they can gel together, which they haven't done all year. But if they can pull it off, coming off a bye, then we can probably see some momentum shift. But until then, this is what I got. Start Lance. Sorry, I got distracted by the baseball game. All right, let's talk about this video. This really caught my attention.
I'm definitely not here to pile up on John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan during a losing streak. And that's kind of what happens. You lose, people talk bad about you. You win, you're the greatest. But there's something I do want to address. I think I've heard Lynch say this, and he said that basically they've had opportunities to win each game. And I think maybe Shanahan.
Now I remember why I like this video. Because I hated the argument that, oh, well, we were in every game. You can say that the other way too. We could have lost every game. So to me, it comes down to, did we win or did we lose? Because ultimately, like Lynch said, this is a results-oriented business. I don't want to hear, well, we could have done this, we could have done that. It could have been this, it could have been that. It is what it is now. This is a fact. We're 2-3. So I think this guy, I love
Say that as well.
Like this guy's good.
And that just doesn't sit right with me, because I was talking to my cousin yesterday,
right.
And we were just talking about the Buffalo Bills versus Titans game and how that came down to the wire. And at the end of the day, when I've been watching the games this year, just in any years, most of the games usually do go down to the wire.
It's just like, this is why the NFL is so great. Is why the viewership is always through the roof. There's always going to be these close games, regardless of what your record is. Like, you can play upset all the way up to like the later weeks. This is why it's so great, because in every given Sunday, a team can win or a team can lose. So to me, I don't think that should be an argument at all. Like, at the end of the day, we're playing like an average or below average team. So yeah, like folks are saying, there's no moral victories in football. Like, I'm sorry, like, this is what have you done for me lately? And what is your record? Oh, right now you're not making the playoffs. Got it. Think we can turn this around? It starts Sunday, right? I mean, we're really going to find out what this team's about next couple of weeks. Now, if you lose to the Colts, you've lost the fan base all year. Like, you can't just go 2-4 and expect people to buy in that you're going to be a playoff team. And then, God forbid, you keep starting Jimmy Garoppolo if you lose. But Garoppolo gets a couple of wins. You may have folks now just focus on trying to get to the playoffs instead of bringing up Trey Lance. I don't think Trey Lance would be in the conversation if this team would be like 4-1 or maybe even 3-2. But what stings is that Jimmy got hurt again. That's what stings. Is that the same thing happens, and that we're expecting a different result. So let's just keep watching.
Meaning that most of the time in the NFL, either team could win the game. But does that matter? All that matters is who wins the game. Like,
exactly. That's all that matters. Did you win that game?
The Detroit Lions have almost won several games this year. So what's the point? Like, yes, we could have won against Green Bay. We could have won against the Seahawks, but we didn't win, and we lost. So those other teams won. And so I don't know. It just doesn't sit. It isn't. It's that to me isn't a point to stand on. Like, yeah, we could have won. Like, okay, well, damn near every team that loses could have won.
Exactly. You can argue the Lions could have had like 3 victories. They could have beat the Niners week 1. So, yeah, that we got to throw that away. Throw that argument away of, oh, we could have, should have, done, whatever. What up? New here? Welcome. Welcome to the family. Let's welcome the folks. Look, Shanahan used to stop playing and trust his players to excuses, dial it up. Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. Let's just dial it up. Let's just get back to the winning column. That's it. Let's take it week by week. Look, if you win against the Colts, I'm not even going to bring up Trey Lance. Let's not. We won with Jimmy because it looks like Jimmy's going to start. But it also depends how you win. The Colts are pretty bad. You should be able to dominate this team. The Colts are they're a pretty bad football team. But they're probably looking at us too. They're probably looking at us like, oh, we got to get in the win column now. Let's get back to our wins. Let's stack up some wins. We could probably make a run. That's how probably Indianapolis is looking at us. So I feel like if we win by a touchdown, that'd be solid. If it comes to like a last second field goal and Colts miss a field goal and we barely won, I'm not going to feel great. I'm going to feel all right. I'm not going to feel great about it. But a win's a win. I'll take it. Any way, shape, or form, I'm taking a win. Because I can't even imagine what this live stream will be like if we're 2-4 next week. Can you imagine us at 2-4? I mean, I don't think Shanahan is anywhere near a hot seat. But if a team goes 2-4, I'm not going to consider it, but you'll probably start reading some papers on the Chronicle or wherever talking about, all right, what's the Shanahan contract? Let's talk about that for a second. So, yeah. I'm going for the Braves, of course. I'm going for the Braves all the way. Let's get this sweep. Imagine, that'd be so nice if the Dodgers get swept. That'd be so nice. And some of the calls aren't going their way this time, which I like to see. All of our losses are self-inflicted. We needed to focus on the run game to complement our defense. That's what we need to do. Yeah. I don't know why we just abandoned the run. I think Elijah Mitchell has been solid. Hopefully Hasty comes in there and is able to contribute. But Elijah Mitchell has been a good football player for us. And I would have hoped that to use him more against the Cardinals. But for some reason, Shanahan didn't want to run it that much. And yeah, I hope that we're committed more to the run this time. That's what I hope. That's the hope. But are we going to do it? That's a whole different question. The mainstream media needs to be stopped. Normalize saying you don't know as opposed to saying something awful. I guess this was on, what is it? First Things First?
On the play. Yes, Josh Allen Smith or Josh Allen slipped, but it got blown up on the left side because of the pressure of Tennessee. I wonder why. Could it be because Buffalo's Pro Bowl left tackle, Taylor Lewan?
Buffalo's Pro Bowl left tackle, Taylor Lewan. I mean, this guy, he's a pro in basketball, but there's just some people that just should focus on a certain sport. This is bad for FS1. Like, it's not that you misspoke. You just don't know who Taylor Lewan is. By the way, he did tweet or said something. I think he's fine. He got carted off in this game. Should be fine. But this is bad. FS1.
Was injured? If he's there, maybe that doesn't happen, but he's out. So you got a second.
The funny part is nobody corrected him. They just let him just build his own grave.
That Josh Allen's trying to go behind, and you see he got destroyed. Dawkins,
yeah,
whoever that is.
Himself.
All right, so that's the problem. You're not good in the red zone.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Jimmy has only lost one primetime game. I think he lost the biggest one, the Super Bowl. Josh Norman is horrible, like actually. I mean, he's not horrible. He's not great. He's not even good. He's average now. Yeah, the PIs thing, pass interference has been hurting us, man. But I don't even, in the grand scheme of things, like, that's the least of my worries, because offensively is where the real focus and troubles have been. And with Shanahan as your head coach, that's inexcusable. So I'm curious how the 49ers respond, how their leaders respond. I'm pretty bummed out that George Kittle won't be able to play in this one. But, I mean, let's see what they have. Like, this is obviously for the season. As crazy as that sounds, in week 7, and now in a 17-game season, that we're saying, all right, Niners, this is for the season, but it's the God honest truth. And it really, this is going to be a big test for them, as big of a game. And I'm glad it's against the Colts, because it's a winnable game. If this was a game against the Rams, I probably have a different tone right now. I don't think we can beat the Rams right now. I don't think we can beat the Cardinals. I don't think we can beat the Bucks, the Cowboys. Hell, I don't think we can beat the Saints. But maybe if we get some momentum. I know it's wishful thinking, but maybe. How about them Dodgers? Yeah. They have 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. Yeah, I hope that they lose this one and are fighting not to get swept tomorrow. That'd be fantastic for me. As a Giants fan, I just don't want to see them in the World Series. That's all. I don't care who wins, just not the Dodgers. If Jimmy starts, he will win because he's on the sideline smiling like, so y'all want Trey? Yeah, well, listen, if he could just stay on the field, okay. DeForest Buckner is coming this Sunday, and I do predict him getting a sack. Just to rub it in our faces, but I hope the Niners win ultimately. Oh, I missed the check swing called out strike. Who was that on? Our roster and team is literally built for the run game and play action pass. We are not a shot. Yeah, the shotgun formation thing is frustrating because, especially on run plays, like Jimmy's not going nowhere. He's a walking stone, man. And defenses know that. So when you hand it off in front of every defensive lineman, they know who has the ball. But if you're going off of under center, play action, that's a little bit more deceiving. So I'm with you on that. I hate the run, play action, or run plays from shotgun formation. I don't understand what that does to the defense. I honestly think it hurts our, I guess, deception. And a lot of what Kyle likes to do is deception. So, yeah, I don't understand it either. I can maybe understand it with Trey Lance, right? Because he can run, he can keep the ball, he can run the other way, and it deceives the edge and keeps him there honest. But when Jimmy's there, The edge doesn't care if he keeps it. Like, what are you going to pick up 3 yards? The linebacker's going to be right behind me. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. I think we can beat the Cowboys. I don't think so, man. They're playing pretty good. If this offense was somewhat getting some points up, then maybe, but do you trust these corners against CeeDee Lamb? That's still a question mark too, man. Corners. Thoughts on the Warriors and Kings? Warriors play tonight. Play the Lakers. So, just to let you know a little bit about myself. I grew up a Lakers fan. Why? Because Kobe played for the Lakers. Kobe was my favorite player. At the time when I was growing up, the Warriors were garbage. And I didn't have family influence to say, hey, you're a Golden State Warriors fan. I did have family influence when it came to Giants, when it came to the Niners, because family members would kind of wear Niner gear, Giants gear around me and watch games together. So that's why I became fans of the team. But when it came, and I obviously grew up in the Bay Area, so when it came to basketball, though, I didn't have a lot of family members who were basketball fans. And those who I did know were Laker fans. So I became a Laker fan. Now, since Kobe retired, my love for the Lakers have almost vanished. But I think the Warriors win tonight. That being said, I think the Warriors win. Kings, I don't keep up with, though. The Kings, I do not keep up with. All I know is that they're always good to disappoint. They were good in the early 2000s, though. They were really good. I'm from the East Bay. Nick grew up in the East Bay. Well, I was born in the city, but I was raised in the East Bay. 5-2. Pujols at the plate. Runner on first. 0-2 count. Checks the runner at first. I think the team just looking unprepared and the overall effort being inconsistent is what is driving fans to conclusions. Couple that with the indecision on the quarterback situation. Yeah. It's just the indecision with the quarterback situation. We don't have a identity of the team. Like, we don't know if this is a defensive heavy team or if this is a high scoring offense. There's none of that. We're just in limbo, which kind of sucks. Which, this is why I'm curious how they come out. Like, this is not only a test to the coaching staff, this is a test to what kind of players we truly have. Do they care? Let's see that effort on Sunday. I feel like this is a big at bat here for Pujols. Just hope he strikes out here. And he got him. Strike 3, sit down, Pujols. We head to the top of the 7th. All right, folks. Well, appreciate everyone joining my live stream. I hope that I'm able to continue to do these. It was nice chatting with you all. But I'll be pumping more videos out this week, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate all the love and support. As always, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will catch you on the next one. We got one more question. Hold on. Oh, it's just Nick. Ayuk situation scares me. Players usually don't recover from a bad second season stress. Yeah, I mean, we just need to get more production from these young players. Javon Kinlaw being one of them, and now Brandon Ayuk has been the highlight of this year of disappointments, right? But I think that doesn't reflect on what a player that Ayuk can be. It just reflects on the coaching staff. Like, you're not putting players in positions to succeed. And when we're seeing all the other players who were drafted around him or around them, in Kinlaw and Ayuk, play better and outstanding and having Pro Bowl seasons, it just highlights it even more. But all right, folks.